Hello? Okay, we can hear me. Let me move this. Let me move this down, please. Thank you. Hello. Playing something different, which I will need a lot of help cheating in. Oh, is the sound not... The sound should be working. The hell's... Okay, alright, it's... Okay. So now it's playing the audio for you, but not for me. Great, I love that. Okay, now I can hear the sound, and you can't hear the sound again, can you? What the hell is this about? Oh, jeez, okay. Now I get this fun static sound. Okay, another one. Let's just switch to desktop audio. So you'll get some lag, unfortunately, but I don't know why my Elgato has decided you're not allowed to hear the sound directly from the game. Oh, wait, never mind, that's fine. I'm out. Oh, no, still not working. Do I have my PS2 capture options? Capture audio only. That's because I wasn't using the screen for that. It would be if my sound would work. Hello, Woody. We're going to be dealing with some delays between sound and the game. I don't know, my Elgato usually doesn't have this problem, but it seems to have decided today. Let's try and use custom audio device. Line. It's decided this is the PS2, I guess. Why do you do these things? What about this one? What does this do? This is still the PS2. It only knows the PS2. Truly amazing. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, well. Anyway, how are you, Woody? What's up? What's been happening? Okay, hold on, I'm going to change my screen a wee bit. Oh. There we go. Boom. Right, vibration, screen flashes. 1 second. Language, only English and Japanese. Turn this to enable story mode and play. It's for autoplay, allowing you to progress through the game automatically. Not interested. Okay. Vibrant. Twinkling. Hey, nice. Good to hear. Okay. New game. I can put down Joy-Cons. Oh, the lag between these. Everyone needs to turn to be like, I can't stop doing murder. That's going to get on my nerves. Just beyond the door of this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate. Some things don't change. What? Oh no, nothing. Savior glares murder. Okay. I can't. Sorry. My name is Jonas. Naruhodo. I'm senior student in the Yapiro Yumehe University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident, and now here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough. He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you, you haven't even graduated yet. And yet I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Oh, thank God for the breeze in here. Right, Yonosuke? Yes, of course, sorry. What are you apologising to me for? Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologising. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Okay. Hopefully that will not mess up my eye tracking. My eye tracking has been a mess today. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not, you have to believe me, I didn't do it. I did. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up, hold your head high. You mean, I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yume University. But he's far more clever than I, a star student in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. Oh geez, you've got the same problem as Phoenix. There is no internal monologue. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old here in Japan anyway. And yet you set a trend for every person in this series. My qualification doesn't mean much yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. You are about to get me off of murder. So, I do appreciate that. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma. It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. Hold on. I have to do everything live to do anything. Where the hell is this? There we go. I'm really happy for you. Hold on, did I miss a line there? Okay, no. Oh no, I did. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you. I'm proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's a a mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about a change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean and to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'll have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. Howdy. Straight after that, that's when it happened. Asogi, may I have a word? Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi, you should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defence in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? Who's this dude? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. This is awkward. If I may? Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Eugene Mikotoba. Mikotoba. I am Professor of Forensic Medicine at Yuma University. Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asoki had told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As much as I feel you should know... Know what? Hold on. Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted... I'm trying to just one. Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I am afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. What? As I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. Hold on, I want to... Okay, so that's how you save in this game. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? But I don't understand, why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favourable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it, I swear. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain No, why did you give this word? Peculiarities about today's trial. Shut up. No one say anything. Sorry, what do you mean? You'll soon understand once the proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, naturally I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defence. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. One fear. It would seem my surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarise. Kazuma Sogi must not be the defence lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving, there's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. This is it. If the trial goes badly, Kazuma's dream of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence, the trial that would decide my destiny. So this is a courtroom. The Supreme Court of Judicature? No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that have been demanded that this be the powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll be clear in time, but for now, you need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Saves just in case something goes terribly wrong here. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is its defence. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defence made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. Orida? I've been in 3D for a wee while. You've seen them. We're still waiting on the new model, which Worm has been working very hard on stream. And yes, we have Phoenix Wright. Well, not Phoenix Wright. Yeah, Ace Attorney in 3D too. I know, me neither. I've only played the DS games. So I'm still not used to it not being the kind of pixelated art. See, as this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for a final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do, I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Damn right I'm doing it. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defence. What's the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. He did a murder. Like everyone in his attorney game, they all do a murder. You'll be... What? What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikotoba told me everything just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off. No, it's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I know that's how you'd feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognises defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel? Really? Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realise you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed, Yamoida. As you are no doubt aware, the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan, accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. How do I get the court record up? How do I get the court record up? My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So, let's start with the very simplest of questions. Oh, yes. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. But... wait. I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. Let me guess, your mind's gone blank. You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with press of R. Thank you. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. I just have to press R for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose. Okay. Proof that I'm a student at the Imperial University. I always wear it on the collar of my uniform. Present by... This is the list of evidence you've collected. Now try switch to people instead with R. Okay, you'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, press B to go back. A medical school unit. Okay, we know who it's not. Victim of this case. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Let me. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Oh, okay, it didn't come out the other side, of course. Right, shortly after 2 a.m. Single bullet fired at close range. Fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body, so it's still in there. Now, you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record and press X to present. Try it now. The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Umea University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet, despite those delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Umea University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that deprives your education. Have you no honour? But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. That's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time. I better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. The British Empire. Oh, it's incredible to think. Wait. Thinking? I've never done that. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. You didn't know his name? So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this Professor of Medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. The cause of death? Well, obviously that was... I just read it. Yunosuke, remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows Professor's cause of death and select present. Okay, calm down. Well, according to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. The post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be testing on any of this later. This is so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. Of course. In other words, we can assume the victim was shot at close range. Yep, that is what Ace Attorney has taught me. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the records. The photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well, I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of this case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Miko Tauba? Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asugi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in the crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course. My name is Satoru... Damn it, I'm going to mess this up. Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at the Western-style restaurant called Le Carnival. Sir, you have anime disease. Already? Are you alright? You seem to be offering up some, It's a regular occurrence. It doesn't bother me. Well, it really, really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels and to accommodate overseas guests. The grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery 3 days ago. Understood. Hosonaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Perspiring, maybe? But aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of day. After 2. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits with my memory of it too. There were hardly anyone else in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair, and standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student. Not yes. Hold on, let me clarify something here. While I did pick up the gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I did shoot. I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. But the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalised, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ryunosuke. You will have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness. If I had confirmed one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man you see here in the court today. Yes, without question. Seeming suspiciously like a tail. I see, and apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. There was no one else around the table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table? What's the matter, Yonosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? I don't know this game's set up to know if we're going to get... Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day, I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table. See, this is a new game. A new system. I don't know if they were planning to let us cross-examine if I didn't jump in. Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy? Don't lead the witness. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like. Let me see. A sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume? That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Why did you witness a murder and immediately draw a floor plan of your workplace? Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Can we have that added to the court record, please? The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Thank you. Oh, well, is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What's that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. The waiter's business card was entered to the court record. Thank you. So, the court has now heard the process of the case. I thought there would be a rotate option, to be fair. So that we could see the other side of his business card. Oh, it's got translations. How kind. Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this witness as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court, but I must warn the defence, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present in the scene. How? If there were only 2 people, how can you have more witnesses? What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Evelyn keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, but these peculiarities. You said it, Professor Mikotoba said it, and so is the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent and I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face. Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defence lawyer is duty-bound to prove the innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. The defence pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Yeah, it's release day. We're playing some. Indeed. Prosecution Auchi. Please. There was a moment in my brain where it's like, I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Then I say it and I'm like, nope, that's definitely how it's pronounced. Please continue with the proceedings. I have to go grab my... I just got the install. I just got the pre-install version so I could play it immediately. And then wait until now to play it. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses. Very well, officer. Bring forth the witnesses at once. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Iesa Nosa. Iesa Nosa. Reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the effluence of our nation Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasutai, humble premises in the 2nd District. Curio Korikuta, at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pair. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. Oh, okay, yes. Alright, okay, thank you, bye. Some of these jokes, it's going to take me a couple tries to catch on to, I think. There must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always posting in. Go the half time either. Yeah, same. I have to look up quite a few. And not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business. Okay. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at the Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets the Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now you both witness the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. I know. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm, sir. This makes it impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during the last thing he said. This decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldiers claim that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yeah. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Yes, sir. Standing by ready to report, sir. Unsavory memories of a most afternoon. Ignore that I don't know English. What the witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back the cowardly little weasel. No. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysterious absconded precious curio. I know. Pineapple. One problem: hard C or soft C. That's where I was getting stuck. But so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon on the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir, and the cruel and unforgivable enemy. Acerbic, thank you. What times we live in, when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Yorinosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Okay. Then, when I finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it, so I bent down, and just as I was picking it up, well, if that's the truth, there are obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's clues as to who that criminal was. There is? Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in testimonies of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. Yet sometimes you just pick up a gun that is on the floor, and you don't say to anyone before you do so, or anything. It is time. Also, if it's not that gun, are you telling me we aren't checking ballistic markings? The fingerprints of the gun? It is time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony the court is just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Also, I know fine well we're not checking ballistic markings because the bullet is still inside Dr. Wilson. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this trial. Yes, please! Please clear me guilty. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? I mean, the defense demands its right to cross-examination. Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. Huh? How does he know? The prosecution objects. That's a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination? The defence is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think it's capable of it is irrelevant. Kazuma was so demanding. Very well. Let the defence conduct a cross-examination of the witness. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witness's statement. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means that what that soldier said had to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence. Right. Evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and undisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you. It's all or nothing. Right, I'm going to take a wee second because my throat is hurting. But I'll save before I do. Boom. Okay. Wait quick, BRB, while I grab ice for my throat. I now have an icy pop. Right, I know I should just press on everything, even though I know what the contradiction is. Why aren't you saying anything? Is this some new interrogation technique? I hadn't actually thought of what I wanted to ask. Just ask anything that catches your attention. Anything that bothers you. Alright then, this beef steak you mentioned, what kind of food is that? Beef steak is a delicious cut of veal vigorously cooked on a cast iron grill and served piping hot. Oh. If food could receive a Medal of Honour, beef steak would be almost as highly decorated as cutlet. Right, I see. Thank you, sir. So, next question. This cutlet you mentioned, what kind of food is that? Cutlet is a delicious cut of veal tossed in breadcrumbs and deep fried in cooking oil. Except you're guilty for doing something for your crimes and then released from prison. Try it. Yes, sir, I will, sir, on the double, sir. Sorry to interrupt, but how about trying to stick to questions that are relevant to the case? Sorry, I'll do my best. Is it just me, or do you keep hearing a wah cry? Well, at least you've learned that he's a big beef lover. Affirmative. It's not easy knowing what questions to ask. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. I have no idea what you're talking about. A Koban boy. A Koban? You mean an Odiro coin? The day prior to the incident, a treasure of exceptional value from the Hoi period entered my collection. My possession, Jesus. I took myself to the restaurant the following day with said items secreted in my bosom pocket, in the hope of an affluent cognizant appraised of its indisputable value being present. So, you were hoping to sell your Koban coin to Sergeant Nosa, whom you met at the restaurant? Yes, it's quite clear where you're going with this, boy. You're about to assert that a penniless soldier would have no hope of purchasing a precious Koban. Isn't that so? Well... You little upstart cadet. Sir, did your hand just clip through the... You want to add a disrespecting a superior officer to your list of crimes, do you? Blatant subordination. No, I didn't say anything. Although penniless might be just the word I was looking for. In any case, the hour is already advanced beyond that of midday luncheon. There remain precious few present with whom I could engage in discourse about matters of business. The gentleman beside me, who was grappling with his braised veal at the time, was my sole prospect. I see. At that precise moment, a firearm discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. Why were you looking at me? So, you're saying that you actually saw me at the time? Affirmative, I saw you, laughing, cackling like a madman as you trained the barrel of your gun on that English civilian. But that's impossible. I only... Allow me to confirm just one point, please. What's that, Private? Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been after you heard the gunshot that you looked over the victim's table. So what if it was? Well, if that really is the case, it would mean that you didn't in fact see the precise moment when the killer actually fired the gun. Dog. My sixth sense. Sorry? My sixth sense of danger. I picked up on the ways of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind. Which means a split second before you pulled the trigger, I looked right at you, cadet. Surely that's not really possible, is it? This is an Ace Attorney game, mate. Do you think I'd have got where I am today in the army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son? Well, it would seem the soldier is absolutely convinced that he saw you do the deed. This is not good. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian from the back, cowardly little weasel. Obviously, this is the one I need to press, or not press, that I need to present on. But we're just going to, you guys know how it plays tourney games, right? So, this black uniformed university cadet, you're saying that was... I've had just about enough of your sauce, cadet. Who else do you see around here in a black uniform, Well, there's someone standing right next to me who fits that description as well, but... It was you, you little weasel. You unloaded the firearm on that man. Just see every bit of content. Yeah, I just want to see the funnies. From behind his back, and you call yourself a citizen of the great empire of Nippon. You disgust me. Ryunosuke, why are you looking directly at me? Oh, never mind. Looking very strangely at Kazuma. I'm not quite sure. It's something that the sergeant just said, but I can't put my finger on it. Something's playing on my mind. In that case, checking back over the details of the evidence. Yeah, okay. I know this. I must hold back. I need to see everything. But some mysterious absconded curious curio. Yeah, mate, why? How would you lost it? Will this be vital for the case in future? Oh no, damn it. No idea what I'm let's just... Yeah. On your hands and knees, could you explain that, please? That's right. Spurning the arthritis I was in order to retrieve the lost piece. What lost piece are you referring to? The Koban, of course. The exquisite Koban coin. I had just been showing the rare treasure to the military man as he masticated his meal. After averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The Koban vanished? Hence I began to acquaint myself with the intricacies of the floor in order to locate it. And then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? None other than... No, there's no concern of mine. I was first scouring the floor for my aforementioned lost treasure. So, in fact, you didn't actually witness the precise moment when the incident occurred. Indeed, myself, I did not. Listen, Yonosuke, you know, I thought, yeah, I know. Okay, you're now free of ice noises. There, I found myself. Yes, I know. I just want to hear the statements Kazuma has. Yes, I know, Kazuma. Stop trying to tutorial me. Because if you assert concession, there's ways. Yeah, but consider I've played an Ace Attorney game before. I feel like you're threatening me, partner. Like the Ace Attorney Investigations game? Oh, I need to. I didn't know it was on the App Store. What are you playing at, Cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination, thrusting some photographic print in my moustache? An inconsistency, sir. Yes. Zen is totally going for a hardcore case for this tutorial one that was saying you didn't commit murder. There's a clear inconsistency here. I mean, is it an Ace Attorney game if any character gets by without being accused of murder at least once? What nonsense. What can this print possibly tell us that we don't already know? Well, obviously, that... I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency. But not as your first case trying to say you didn't. I can... I'm going to be... There's a couple games I haven't played, but I think you might be right. Yeah, I think that's a fair game. Yeah, first game was Larry's. Second game was Maggie. I haven't played third. Apollo had to defend Phoenix, I guess. Was that the first case in that game? I can't remember. That there's no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. This is so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out without any would be an insult to the court. Kazuma, what? What are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at this photogenic print presented by the defence that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Isanosa. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed first cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir. But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... Because... Take a close look at this print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet hole in a bullet wound into the chest. I'm realising we're not going to get any look at this graph jokes in this playthrough. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that's the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? Well, what was that? Something just popped up from behind his back when he pushed it down again. Certainly there's a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharged, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious Le Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony this court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. The witness, Sergeant Isanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. That's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in the grand courtroom. Yeah. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about? But I definitely saw him. Baby turnabout. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back. But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man? You didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Oh yes, you were looking for your Koban coin, weren't you? Indeed, the prized Hoei-era Koban. Hunting around under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only to find my absconded Hoei treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoei Koban was lost to me. No doubt, some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No doubt how subservient our government feels it must be to the British. It would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Aoshi? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear, and that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well, the court invites the witness to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegations. Is that clear? As clear as critical glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Thank you. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up for the ranks, sir. Name Idol. Ever seen those straps or a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny? Idol Tinshun. Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. You're doing great, Idol. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was charged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was. That young lad in black. That much I myself did see. No, you didn't. You testified you did not. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman over and out. These testimonies are certainly compelling. Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, it's enough of these outbursts already. But there was a young woman these two. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her. If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We're not here to listen to your fantasies. It's evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. How? Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, counsel? Indeed, of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As you can plainly see, there is only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, she could have literally happened to sit down, have a conversation with him, and walk away. There is no requirement for her to eat. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. I don't understand. What's going on here? Someone felt like helping themselves, it seems. It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before her said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear I saw a woman with him. Yeah, he died and she came back and poured herself a glass of wine. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt. There are very sensitive political crimes, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takatsuchi Aochi, will have contributed to the amity of those two great nations is an honour. Takatsuchi. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defence is entitled to cross-examine the witness, but make it quick, understood? Rules can be so unbending at times. In fact, your case has to... Yeah, you're right, actually, this is a very intense case. And also, there was a chance that if we failed it, Asogi would not get to go on his study trip. Firearms charge, it's almost the same thing. No, it's not. It's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a different opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Do you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it's an undeniable fact that I did blink. I mean, you might have not. You might have not. So there you have it. I have no proof that you did in fact blink, sir. You might have not blinked this entire trial. The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? And let's not forget that the antique dealer witnessed used in this most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so, Kurikotsu-san? Yeah, confirmed, cannot blink. Yes, pointing the gun at the floor. Oh, yes. Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at the point in time, but I already told you that was only because I picked it up off the floor. Well, obviously, as a culprit, that's the only way you could explain this away. I just finished drinking my coffee and was about to leave the restaurant when... So, as you remember, his glass had liquid in it, but not when the post-mortem photo was taken. I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And exactly that moment, watch that never be relevant, watch that just be like an art mistake. A gunshot rang in my ears. Full of events beyond our control, life is... Sorry? What do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas conversely, I failed to pick up the whole band from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you, with pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there. Are we not going to... Do you not want to say, hey, what about the waiter? As you have been at pains to point out time and again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there had been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. Listen, this is Ace Attorney. You can do whatever you want in this court. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know. Of course, the place was almost empty. That's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? It's her medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at the clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. What a clinic? Yes, that would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th of November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case. I wonder, what do you think, Kuronosuke? Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into court records of evidence if you think it could be useful. Of course I want it. Give me all the evidence you got. If I may, I'd like to ask for the medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? Oh. The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Hoti clinic? Oh, okay, of course. Not to mention that the victim's movement prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern. Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have the right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defence's request. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. Yeah, that... Nothing more to say on that one, huh? What we need right now is new clues. I mean, I have a clue, but... Can I not investigate this? Well, then why can't I? But yeah, the festival all ready for you. Or perhaps you've forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate it for the accused, Korikuta-san. Indeed, alone he was, an Englishman dining all by himself. So I just want to double check. Found in the victim's pocket? Well, he does have a few pockets. No. So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The crime scene photographing, of course. Which one? We have this one, which, as you can see, the cutlery and glass contents will be different. You can see he's been shot and dressed. And we have this one. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. And we have this one. I can't see them. It do, don't it? I was like, this knife is awful suspicious. I don't feel this man used this knife. Pardon. The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone. Left-handed? No. His glasses on the right-hand side. That I did. Forgive me for the position I placed you in. So the testimonies of the man, soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget, then contestable evidence we have to support the claim. Yeah. The very suspicious evidence we have to support their claim. As can clearly be seen here, there's only a single beefsteak on the victim's table, a meal for one. But a bottle. The antique dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not possible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Therefore, no one other than the black... Why aren't you telling the truth? What did you say, Cadet? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of two witnesses alone. Sorry. The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. I'd appreciate if they could all mark. So... He also said the victim was alone. That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But if such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. If no such proof exists, the prosecution demand no further of this phantom woman be made. It's a blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. Excellent work, Ryonosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. Help me, Zoe, you're my only hope. I won't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. I've been trying to look at it, but the game won't let me. Oh, you mean this? Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence, so perhaps we should have examined it in a little more detail. You'll notice that some piece of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are them, yep. As I have been trying to do. Yes, Cries. Cries. Okay, this is not such one. The evidence in no detection by using. Yeah. You can move the crosshair around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. Crosshair starts to pulsate. Stay to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at the medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use to inspect all the areas of evidence that look suspicious. Cool, so John Wilson, Hota Clinic. It says Hota Clinic on the medical report card. I hate clinics almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same? When I was 5, I caught the only code I've ever had in my life. Diagnose idiot. And I remember, even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my right arm. I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life. Most people would give their right arm to have only had one cold in their whole life. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking. Medical card required for every visit. Okay, let's start on. Hold on, I'm not done. Dentist, total clinic, date. It looks like this medical report card was first issued quite some time ago. It's probably a record of long-term treatment, that's why. With family doctor, I imagine. But Dr. Wilson's only been here for years. Well, I can't imagine going to a doctor. I mean, as long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Well, if you were dead, there would be no point. So you don't like doctors then? Why would you? They make you drink horrible tasting medicine, they give you painful injections, and then they demand lots of money from you for the privilege, all when you're at your lowest ebb. You sound like a model patient. With a bad case of stubbornness, no less. For what? It's the only cure is a very bitter medicine indeed. Yeah, apparently, damn Ryonosuke. Let's take a look at this one first. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. There's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction? You mean he had his tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd have had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they use laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything you can actually stop you feeling pain. There's cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effect has passed. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. There's no information. You have to check your statements. So next time we listen to someone doing you'll do it differently. Same thing. And black. For more visual search premise time. Doing it all by himself. Therefore, no. Okay. So, has to be this one, right? No. Yeah, he can't be dining. And none of these other ones are clear enough in the dining aspect, so. Well, I think, where are you, wuthering lad? Call yourself a lawyer. I wish I could, but first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clear in this cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that so purposely, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Alright, and thanks for the advice. Yeah, okay, what am I thinking? Why are you giving me those eyes like you wouldn't make out in the middle of this courtroom? Kurikoto-san, this is the medical report card that belonged to the victim. Ah, I see, and I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what it's written on this report card with your witness statement, something clearly doesn't add up. Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You're not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. But that... Remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. You can call the prosecution a bitch if you want to. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong. The witness testimony this court has heard have been clear and concise. The medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could possibly... This medical report card has nothing to do with the case. What I want... Do you really believe that? Hold on. We possibly have perpetuated. What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because VoD Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted. What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating. Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours. Post-procedure with anesthesia. Post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't be. Also, I just want to say, as someone who has had teeth removed in the past, I can't imagine going to a restaurant, even just to have water. Because this side of your face is numb and it's just rolling out of you and it is horrible. I do not want to be in public in that situation. Kurikoto-san. Yeah, exactly. What, boy, what? As you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m, the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court that, with unwavering self-confidence, that the victim was dining alone. No planned for a friend and took me to the restaurant with her. Oh no! Oh no, Pineapple! That's awful! I mean, this is like not that close to it, but I did, when I was a kid, I did like break my tooth, and I got it pulled, and then it was like, okay, we're going on a plane. The worst part was, like, the dentist hadn't even taken all of it out. It broke into 4 parts, and he only pulled out 3 of them. Yeah, on a plane. So I was in the terminal for the plane, and I was like, I can still feel something in my gums. So I was so I was sitting there trying to feel what was still in my gum, and then, like, just as the boarding got called, I ripped out this final piece of tooth. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effect of the anaesthetic. Expertly done, partner. We'll go back to that dentist, I hope. I went to them for a few years. I don't go to them anymore. Uh, just from moving, though. Oh yeah, Kazuma is partner. What is this nonsense, you little upstart? He writes. These are baseless accusations. Just look at the photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table. Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? Eh? Ryunosuke? Ryunosuke? Eh? Yes, most definitely. So, having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Well, I'm not certain that they'd have to move it because, as we can see from the post mortem photograph, he's facing away from the table. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beef steak? The court will hear the opinion of defence on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel? Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Alright. The answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of your turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been me. I'm a sham. Edgeworth's a sham. No, I'm a sham. The detective's a sham. Edgeworth is a sham. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table. You will not let this go, will you? There's no such person. There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. No, that's... Oh, I can turn this one now. Oh, frickin' finally. The plan of the restaurant raises a number of questions, I think. Definitely. I suppose it's to show the relative position of everything the moment I film the incident, but there's nothing to show the woman you saw was there. Exactly, and that's not all. Look here in the upper left, where it says kitchen. Yes, what of it? No one would use that complicated character to write kitchen, especially not if they were in a hurry. You mean you don't remember those characters yourself, don't you? Study harder, Yonosuke. I have a question, is there English voices for the objection and such? I mean, I assume so, but it was just wondering. Yes, there is. You can switch between English and Japanese voices, I think. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigations Delivery Division. Some waiter. Hold on. I realise I should. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see what's written in the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga. Well, yes, business cards do to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. That's not the name that's unexpected, it's his job title. His job? Oh, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea. Well, let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. If they're wielding it somehow here. I was about to check something else. Oh, I was going to gameplay audio. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe you can't. Maybe it's just game language. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witnesses' testimonies are unreliable. Half-eaten, like, yeah, sure, like a third eaten. Took two big generous chomps out of it and walked away. If the court decides to push through on ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice to pursue a fair retrial relentlessly. Kazuma? Are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, Counsel. I have no issue with that, with you. What do you mean? I have an issue with them, those two witnesses in the stand. What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if now turns out the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies... Hold on. Okay, this one can't be turned. Photos can't be turned. Obviously, you'll be charged with perjury. Perjury? And since this is a murder trial, you will be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in murder? No. Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders. That's right. As the man says, you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us. Oh. What? What did you just say, Kurikoto-san? Oh, no. You were just following orders? Now hold on, lad. I was so... Say you never saw the gentlewoman. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim of a lady from overseas? What? What? Ryunosuke, this is why you haven't got a cold. What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses give false statements? Is that true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. Order, counsel. Explain what's going on here. It's painfully clear to now you tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as conspirators to this murder, are you? You wouldn't. This can't be happening. Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn science by someone who has considerable influence. However, I don't believe Aochi has any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Damn, if only we had some sort of evidence that I'd done ahead of time. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can confirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. We must have tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we can make any firm accusations. Evidence proves, however, it was a real word of sort of power there. And how are we possibly? Have we made progress before yet? We some of this game I don't know how to tell you. I was way ahead of you. That's one piece of evidence. I like how I save scum despite being like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing. Please, wait. Your Excellency, I have no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I knew nothing. And what does defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency, no time to think. I just go ahead and have to close my eyes and shout at the first thing that comes to my head. Immediately blames Kazuma for it. Besides prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to notably witnesses. Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier? And poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. If he truly were? Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. So now I guess you didn't say proven by this evidence. The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree, it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure how you conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. Would he just give his business card? You did miss this, Pineapple. He was reluctant to put it into evidence. He'd drawn the map on the back, and when they asked him to put it into evidence, he was like, no. Maybe not do that. Like, foolish move in the first place. Get a napkin, you're a waiter. I beg your pardon? Or perhaps I should have said the front? Yes, the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. They would have over for the try starters. or ask for a piece of paper. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? So he has a presentation or whatever for a piece of paper. Well, he said that he wrote it in a hurry, like directly after the incident took place, which was a strange thing to choose to do in such a situation to begin with. So, would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession, but that's your... Good gracious. That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigations Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter? A police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power. Absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So witnesses there on the stand... Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen the foreign gentleman at the scene? Well, Inspector Hosonaga. I was... Pardon. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realised it was a possibility. Court will You know, that's not even out of line for... That's not even out of line for Ace Attorney, though. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It is my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you mean to say you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Of course, your salary must be... I was working undercover. Undercover? There have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? Oh, pardon. That'd be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. No, this sounds very familiar to a police chief we once heard from. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga. But you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would have been aware of this person's presence, having served at that table in question. However, your testimony does not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would you... Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. Does Bruno? I immediately sailed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders, you mean to say? Remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if this Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect, well, without any refutable evidence, that'd be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Cosmo? UMA University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. Then you're assuming sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of UMA University's medical faculty. What? I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of the lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. I feel like this may be the most blatant corruption that I have seen in an Ace Attorney game. Like, yes, the police force are corrupt, the government is corrupt, it's all corrupt, and they're all willing to pin it on you. Very well, my thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented as court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise, namely that the victim was dining alone. Are we about to trolley problem in this chat? Are we about to start trolley probleming in this chat? Do we sacrifice Ryunosuke for the good of Nippon? But consider the person they're working with. The person they're working with is Great Britain, so like, that's good for no one. However, as we have now discovered that the premise is false, it'd be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling this point. But Your Excellency, that wouldn't mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send a telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government would surely be very displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Council. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir? You'll locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it wouldn't be a problem? I think it would be a problem. You should, Inoue. You should do it. I think you can. I feel like the original trilogy goes on sale pretty often. Nothing will get in my way. Court will be adjourned briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Giselle Brett to this witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency. Good, then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. To be continued. Okay. Yes, I would. Alright, that's been a pretty good wee start. I will be playing more of this game. You can debate in the !Discord if you want me to play it on the channel. I think there will be one person who really wants it because they didn't make it in here today. Oh, no, not on Firefox. But let's see who else is live tonight. I'm just signing off there. Oof. I always pick dead times to end streams. Let's see if there's anyone. Nope, no one in there. No. Oh. Let's see if this person's still alive. Let's see. Yep, they're still alive. So let's send you over to listen. Send you over there. Oh, I can't work my computer. I'm so terrible at this. Okay, thank you guys for coming by. And oh, we're not that one. Slash right. There we go. Right, thank you guys. Bye bye. Bye bye bye.